When he said it, I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was absurd. He stood there in our kitchen holding a spreadsheet, eyes cold, voice clipped. From now on, he said, everything would be 50-50. Rent, groceries, even gas. I'm not your provider, he added. I'm your partner. You need to contribute equally. Partner. That word used to sound like love. Now it sounded like accounting. When I met Daniel, he was still chasing his first big break. A junior manager, broke but ambitious, with that quiet arrogance men wear like armor. Back then, he called me his lucky charm. I worked 2 jobs while he built his career. I paid the rent when he couldn't. Cooked, cleaned, waited, believed. When he got promoted, we celebrated with cheap champagne and takeout. He promised I'd never have to worry again. I didn't know that success would rewrite his definition of love. The first sign came slowly. He stopped saying we. It became my house, my car, my money. Then one evening he brought up financial fairness. I thought he was joking until he emailed me a shared expense tracker. At first, I tried to understand. Maybe he just wanted transparency. But then came the dinner where he lectured me for ordering wine. Why should I pay for your indulgence, he said, as if I was some stranger he'd met on a dating app. The humiliation burned more than the wine ever could. Still, I didn't argue. I just watched. Because sometimes silence tells you more than questions ever could. The turning point came 3 months later, when I found the hotel receipt. It wasn't in his wallet. It was emailed to our shared printer. A 2-night stay, executive suite, 2 guests. And the signature at checkout? Samantha R., his assistant. That night, I didn't confront him. I cooked his favorite dinner, smiled when he said he was working late, and while he was gone, I opened a new bank account. Revenge, I've learned, isn't about rage. It's about patience. I started small. I stopped paying my half, but I didn't say anything. Instead, I quietly rerouted all my income into my new account. He didn't notice, of course. Men like Daniel never look too closely at the machinery of their own comfort. He thought I was still contributing. That illusion kept him smug, complacent. Then I made friends, quietly, with his HR department. I'd worked in admin for years. I knew policies, payroll systems, timing. When the company announced a merger, I made sure certain emails reached the right eyes. Emails with attachments. Attachments that showed Daniel's business trips weren't exactly professional. By the time he realized his career was collapsing, it was already too late. It started with an internal review, then suspension, then silence. At home, he unraveled, angry, defensive, confused. He accused me of being unsupportive, distant. And when he shouted, "You're supposed to be on my side," I almost pitied him. Almost. He didn't know I'd already spoken to a lawyer, didn't know the house was in my name, refinanced 2 years ago when his credit took a hit. Didn't know that I'd gathered every proof of infidelity, every record of his verbal abuse, every spreadsheet he'd ever sent demanding I pull my weight. The night it all came crashing down, he was sitting in the dark, staring at his phone. The company had terminated him. No severance, reputation destroyed. He turned to me and said, "You're all I have left." I looked at him, this man who once called me his world, and handed him an envelope. Inside were divorce papers, filed, signed, sealed. He blinked. "You're leaving?" "No," I said, "you are." He laughed until he saw the deed, and the bank statements, and the court order freezing what little remained of his accounts pending investigation. His voice broke. "You did this to me?" I tilted my head. "You asked for equality, Daniel. I just finally gave it to you." When he left that night, he didn't slam the door. He just stood there, a man stripped of everything he'd used to define himself: money, power, control. And for once, he had to pay the price of his own arrogance. Now, when people ask if I ever feel guilty, I tell them no. Because I didn't destroy him, I just stopped protecting him from himself. The house is quiet now. The bills come in my name, and I pay them, easily, comfortably, because I built the life he thought was his. Sometimes when I walk past that spreadsheet framed in my office, I smile. He used it to divide our lives. I used it to calculate his downfall. Fairness, after all, was his idea.